Okay, we're going to be replacing the screen on a Probook 4520s HP computer.
Is this on?
Yeah. The LCD on it is cracked. We're just going to go ahead and take it out and place a new one in there. We're just going to replace the entire unit, the screen, and the LCD unit. First thing we're going to want to do is disconnect all power. So you're going to flip it over and you're going to pull out your battery. Once you remove your battery, you're going to want to flip the unit back over. Your unit up, and if you look at the bottom of your screen, you're going to notice 3 little round circles. You're going to go ahead and locate those, and you're going to use a small flathead screwdriver to pop them up. There's going to be 2 on either side, and 2 in the center. The 2 on the outside are going to be the hardest to get off. They're kind of really flat and plasticky, while the ones in the middle are rubbery, so they're really kind of simple to pop off. Just gotta wedge it under there and pull. Okay. Now, you're going to see 4 screws that's going to uncover. You're going to want to find the correct implement to use. It might be either a Phillips screwdriver or a star head. In my case, the screws are starred, so we're going to use a star head screwdriver. And it's kind of really tricky. You kind of want to go on an angle because of how they put it. So you're just going to kind of twist. You got to work with it. I'm going to go ahead and unscrew these other 3, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, I went ahead and removed all 4 of those screws. I actually ended up using a flathead screwdriver because it was easier to get wedged in there. Now, that might be a little bit easier depending on the screws you're using, but the flathead screwdriver I had to use was quite small in order to get it in between the star head. Now we're going to go ahead and pop the screen casing off. It's the plastic cover that's on front of the screen. You're going to want to take a small screwdriver or either a knife that's sharp enough to get in here. I'm going to go ahead and use a combination of a knife and a screwdriver. I'm going to wedge open the casing right around where one of the latches are.
Is it still on?
Yeah, it's on. And I'm just going to kind of pry at it to pop it off. It might start making a bunch of cracking sounds. Don't worry, that's just the latches letting go. Let it kind of just go out softly and don't rush it. And if it's not your way around, when you get up here in the middle, there are 2 latches on either side of the camera. You're going to want to be careful because you want to do it on either side. You don't want to do it where the camera unit's located because you may mess up your camera, and that's just going to be another replacement you don't want to deal with. Use the bottom of the unit. To do that, you can kind of tilt it up so that you can actually get to it, and you're just going to continue popping the latches up. Everywhere. Most careful because there is a ribbon unit that runs along there, and that's going to be for your 40-pin connector screen. And if you Now, once you've released all the latches on the unit, you're going to want to just slide the plastic cover off your screen, and it's going to reveal the LCD, your camera, your speaker, and your microphone, and the ribbon unit down here. Now, to replace the screen, you're going to want to find the screws that are located on all the corners. Then you're going to remove those. You're going to be careful. I mean, you don't want to drop these screws into the unit because it's going to be kind of hard to get out. Not impossible, but kind of hard. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, and I'll get back to you. Now that we've removed both brackets, they're kind of free now. You want to be careful because this unit is, the whole back of the computer is only held up by these brackets. That's kind of like the support of it. So you want to be cautious that you don't just let it kind of hang because it's going to crack your casing. One thing I do notice is that the microphone cable is taped to the LCD, so you're going to want to take something and you're going to want to just pop that tape off. And there's another connector up here for your camera, your web camera, and the microphone unit too. So you're going to want to just go ahead and pop that connector out. And it just kind of pulls out. It's kind of small, so it kind of helps to use a little screwdriver. And there's the connector for that. Then you can go ahead and tilt your LCD back. Be careful because there is a cord connected to it, and that's your microphone cable. It's a ribbon cable, so it's very thin, and you don't want to mess with that. So you're going to go ahead and pop the tape off that's holding it to the screen unit. If you can, be kind of careful with the tape because you can go ahead and reuse it to stick it to your new screen. And it does wrap all the way around, so you're going to want to remove it all the way. Okay, next what you're going to want to do is go ahead and pull all the tape up that holds the ribbon down. You're going to be very careful because it is a ribbon connector and they are kind of fragile at times. Once you get that up so that you can see that your connector cable, your ribbon for your connector is free, so it's not attached to the back of the LCD, you're going to want to go ahead and remove this. It's just a piece of, it's kind of like a piece of tape that just kind of keeps it from sliding out when it's in the back of your unit. You're just going to kind of take the screwdriver and just wedge it under there. And just peeled up, you're going to notice that this is the ribbon unit. Once you flip it up, there's going to be a yellow tab right here, and you can go ahead and flip that up. I'm going to need a screwdriver to do it because it's kind of small, and it's just a little tiny latch. Now that it's up, you can see it's up and free. You're going to go ahead and just carefully slide your connector out. Once your connector is out, you're free to take your LCD unit, and I went ahead and placed my new LCD that I purchased from laptopscreens.com, and I placed it on the keyboard so I could go ahead and connect the 40-pin connector into it. So what you're going to do is just slide the 40-pin connector back in. Just be kind of careful with it. I mean, you are working with small componentry. Once it's in all the way, you'll know it's in all the way because this latch will be able to come down completely. You're going to want to push the little latch with the yellow tape or whatever color tape they decided to use on it. Make sure it's down all the way so it's completely connected down. And then you can just go ahead and take that existing tape and just go ahead and push it down. Okay, now that we've gotten the connector back in, the 40-pin connector, we're going to go ahead and just take the ribbon tape that was holding down the ribbon connector. You're just going to kind of push it to the back of the LCD screen, being very careful because this is a brand new LCD and you do not want to crack it. Okay, and you're going to want to take the screen and just kind of tilt it up back into the back unit so we can connect to the brackets. I did leave the screen protector on while it was laying on the keyboard because I didn't want it to get scratched. I'm going to go ahead and remove that now. Now this is a good idea to do this now before you drop the connector back into the back of the computer. You're going to go ahead and connect your webcam and your speakers, or your webcam and your microphone back into the connector. Line up the screws. It helps if you get the top one first because it will hold your screen from dropping. It helps if you have a second pair of hands to help you with this part because the screen is going to be kind of flimsy. At this point, it's not going to want to stay lined up, so you're going to want to hold it lined up while you get the first screw. And once you get the first screw in, you'll be fine. I mean, it might take a little bit of work, but it's going to secure everything. So you can go ahead and just start tilting everything in. I'm going to go ahead and put the top one in on the other side too so that the screen isn't rocking all around. Take the Phillips screwdriver and we're going to go ahead and go down each side of the brackets and screw in all 4 screws on each side for a total of 8 screws in the brackets. I'm going to go ahead and get the other side done, and then I'll get back to you. And the screws, all 8 of the screws on both sides of the brackets, you're going to go ahead and make sure that the actual brackets themselves are lined up to the back of the casing. Be very careful because you are working with the casing, which is either plastic or aluminum, but it can be fragile at times. I'm going to go ahead and go back to using a smaller flathead screwdriver in order to help drive these star heads back in. You're going to go ahead and place the screw in. Take your casing, you're going to want to slide it down into the unit, make sure that everything's kind of lining up. You also want to make sure that no tape is showing from where you attached it. And make sure it's lined up all around the bottom before you even start clicking these down. And you're just going to start going around your screen, just lightly pressing, and they'll all kind of snap into. Are all good. If it looks like it's kind of risen up in a few spots, it's because your screws aren't in yet, and that will go away once your screws are in. Just go around the unit, just make sure everything's lined up, make sure it's all locked in. Now we're going to go ahead and place our screws back into the bottom of the unit. And these are going to be the most tricky because you want to get them nice and snug, but you're going to need to use a flathead precision screwdriver to get them in because they are in a tricky spot. The trickiest part is going to be getting them into the unit. Take your covers, the little black pieces you popped off in the beginning. The rubber ones, if you remember, they go towards the middle. So you're just going to kind of slide them down, line them up with a screwdriver or your fingers. Once you get them completely over the screw and in the cover spot, you're going to just push them down, use your screwdriver to push them in a little bit. They will stick. As long as you didn't handle them too much, they will stick fine. Your screen is replaced, you're going to want to power it up and make sure your screen resolution settings are set again. You're going to want to run the test again because you may have placed a screen in there that's got higher settings on it, lower settings on it, but most screens are compatible depending on the screen resolutions, depending on what processors you're running and what screen resolution you're running. So once you have all that done, you can just run the test, just make sure it's all working again, and you'll be good. I hope you had a great time replacing your screen. You saved a lot of money, and have a great day.